I got started in triathlon after I finished school. I wanted to be a professional athlete, and my coach pointed me from surf lifesaving towards triathlon. It had potential. It's got an Olympic Games, and yeah, I hired a bike, gave one a go, and never looked back. The biggest draw card was the Olympic Games and still is. At the minute, that's my main focus for this year, is to qualify for the team for Tokyo 2020. I mean, as an athlete, there's not many bigger dreams than representing your country in an Olympic Games. Yeah, I think Australia honestly leads the way. We have been really strong in triathlon since, the early days. I mean, it's not many podiums that Australia hasn't had a medal on, so to be able to be part of that now moving forward is really exciting, and I think we've got a really strong base of men and women in the sport, so hopefully it means big things. I think part of being an athlete is being able to continue as business per usual throughout periods of change. We've recently just had a coaching change, but me and my training partner, Natalie Van Couverden, we've continued to train really well together, and the focus doesn't change there. We're out there to do the best job we can, racing on the World Series and earning those qualification points towards Tokyo. The run is probably my Achilles heel. It's something that I've been working really hard at over the last 18 months, and I'll continue to work on that one. Coming from a swimming background, I've been really proud of my swims and the transition onto the bike, and now it's just about finding my feet and using that run. Yeah, it's super exciting. I got my first shot in the mixed team relay this year in Abu Dhabi, and Australia, earned the gold medal there, and it was so much fun to be a part of. I think it just adds a different element to the sport. It is such an individual sport, but then you add in this short, fast mixed team relay event with a female, male kind of leg, and it's spectator friendly. The lead's always changing. There's no room for mistakes. I think it's an awesome event to add. Yeah, Super League's been brilliant. I was super excited to re-qualify into this year's series. So we get kickstarted again in Jersey in the end of September. It's similar to that mixed team relay format in that it's short, sharp, aggressive racing, and that's the way I love to race. I think of my favourites of the format, I actually really like the enduro. I think people say it's the hardest because it's back to back, you never stop. So it's swim, bike, run, swim, bike, run, swim, bike, run. And at the end of each discipline, they knock the bottom two out. But I kind of like that approach. It's cutthroat from the start, so it rewards those that go hard early. That's a tough question. I'm such a home girl, and I always try and get home when I can. But I think my favourite place I've found so far along the way would be Canada. I got there for the first time last year and actually got to spend about 5 days in Banff at the end of this ITU season, and I absolutely loved it. I think it's a little bit similar to Australia in that sense, but yeah, the national parks and the lakes and the running trails there blew my mind. Yeah, so I took a timely sweat test just before Singapore Super League in February. Before then, I was kind of just guessing about my hydration and sweat loss, and then taking the test, a few days before the race, I was able to straight away implement some strategies with the Precision 1000 packs, and I think they've made an instant difference, especially in Olympic distance racing or that Super League where you're going back to back, over 2 days of racing. You can't afford to be losing all that sodium in your sweat. And to then back up, I think recovery wise in training and both in racing, it's been a massive difference for me. Yeah, so I like to keep my race day nutrition pretty standard for every race. I generally have a big meal about 3 hours out before the race, and then an hour before I'll chomp down a banana, and I'll make sure I'm sipping on my Precision Hydration 1500. And then come the actual race, I'll always have 2 gels on my bike in an Olympic distance, and I'll take these generally on the bike within the race. And then I'll also have my bottle of Precision Hydration 1000, and I aim to get down that whole 750 ml on the bike. I did the sweat testing. I know I sweat a lot during the races, so for me that's always key, getting that fluid in on the bike. I think from day to day, everything in moderation. I'm, a massive chocolate fan, so I'm never going to say no, but the way I look at it is we need to fuel our body in order to train. I take that into consideration when I'm making food choices. I know if I give myself the right amount of fuel, I'm going to be performing best in training, and then that'll transfer to my racing, so it's part of the job. I generally don't have any big superstitions around racing. It's just the little things, I guess. The little things make you feel comfortable on race day. You just have a routine, and I just run through that. It helps me to be confident that I haven't forgotten anything. Little things like I'll always listen to the same kind of pre-race playlist that gets me a bit pumped up. You always go through your warm-up drills the same as you would. It's little things like that that help you feel comfortable on race day. Oh, my best friend in triathlon would have to be Natalie Van Koeveren. She's my training partner, and we laugh how similar we are among many aspects in the sport. So it's an awesome having such a great friend to train alongside, and we push each other really well. Yeah, I guess it's a good question. I mean, for me, I don't really think about the competitive nature and those Tokyo spots. I feel like if we got caught up in that, it would really distract and pull away from our training. We work really hard off each other. You'll turn up to a training session and one will push the other, and it just raises the bar for both of you. So I feel like the focus is more on the training and the processes, and the outcome will be what it'll be. But ideally, we'll both be on that team going to Tokyo together and can share that experience. Yeah, I recently completed my Bachelor of Nursing, specialising in emergency care at the University of Sydney. I was really lucky to be a part of the elite athlete program at Sydney Uni. They've got a number of elite athletes there, and they really help you balance your study with the sport. So I changed my studies to be part-time, and then they would help me balance when I had big blocks of prac work in the hospital to get done. They could rearrange that so that I would be doing them in the off-season. They could move around exams. And then I think being a professional athlete, especially triathlon with the 3 disciplines, you're already quite good at time management. So in terms of study, it was just about that self-discipline and getting it done.